I am live, and my mic is muted. Not anymore. We have one person who's joined us right now. It's not just me. We're going to give it a few minutes. I'm going to take a sip of water. If you're just joining me, please feel free to leave some comments. I'll get right to you. We're going to try to get the count up to past 10. If we can go get more than 10, we might be able to actually have a party. Go, we're at 11. We're going to keep going. 13. I'm just going to check the other platforms, make sure the stuff is going. We're going to keep going. 13. Okay. We got the first heart. Thank you so much. I'm not sure who did that, whoever gave me the first heart, but I really appreciate it. Let's see. Getting some comments coming through. First off, I just want to thank all of you for joining me on this Monday night. This is the first Monday of the month, and also the first Monday of the new year. Yeah, I think that's how it works. You have to excuse me. I've been up since 5 a.m. Eastern time because I'm a dad. I'm going to start sounding like a broken record just talking about the lack of sleep that I have. I'm already the type of guy who tells the same stories over and over again. So stick around. You'll probably hear some of the same stuff over and over again. But checking in, we have Daniel Wood saying, I have to put kids to bed. Lame, I know. Dude, I feel you. I feel you. I would be in a similar boat. Normally I'd be doing this at around 7 p.m. because my bedtime is very early. But as you can see, I am in a new place. I am in a WeWork. That's where I'm at. I'm not going to tell you the exact location of the WeWork, just in case anybody has an electronic key card and wants to get me. The setup here in the WeWork that I'm in, it basically looks like, if you guys have ever seen Die Hard, the top floor that's still under construction, this looks like what they were trying to do with Die Hard. It's like a bunch of human fish tanks. It's kind of what I feel like right now. But I have my private office. This is a glass enclosed man cave, if you will, and I'm happy to be here because it gets me out of my one-bedroom apartment and allows my wife to watch her, I guess, English television at full volume. If anybody out there is also married to an Anglophile, let me know how you're handling it in the comment section. I don't know any of the shows that she watches. I know there's one called Outlander. She's very into The Crown and stuff like that, and I'm the asshole who just like pops in to make fun of whatever's happening on the screen, or to ask my wife to explain to me what's happening on the screen. So we've basically, in order to have a successful marriage, we sort of leave the English television watching to her. There you go. All right, we got a good amount of people. We got a lot of hearts, got a lot of thumbs ups. Very happy to see all that. Let's get to it. First question coming in from Kurt Gardner. He asks, would you host a late night talk show? I think given the opportunity, I would give it a go. I don't know how good I would be at it. I think it takes a real skill to, sit down and have an off the cuff conversation with somebody. I think I would be very interested to see the kinds of guests that I would have on a late night talk show. Because it seems like one of the things with a lot of late night talk shows, there are a lot of guests that the host needs to pretend to be interested in, you know? I mean, I think it's a little easier if you're a late night talk show host and you're just throwing to a band, because it's like, ladies and gentlemen, you know, debuting their new single off of their album, here are, you know, insert band, and then the band does their thing. And then you go, oh, that was great. That was great. You don't have to have a conversation with the band, you know, like, you know, you don't have to do a follow-up and say what exactly was great about the music that they were playing. Whereas, you know, if you have a fucking TikTok star that you have to interview because they're an influencer, like, what's that conversation gonna be like? Plus, I wonder if, could I get away with having a beard as I'm trying to move. I don't know how to work these banners that are moving down there. So I'm trying to get my mug out of the way, but I mean, I got a pretty intense beard right now. And, you know, I wonder if I could have that as a late night host, because I feel like, I think Stephen Colbert had one, but wasn't it for a cause? Was it like an activist beard? And look, my beard isn't an activist beard. It's a lazy beard. I'm not very good at buzzing my own shit. And with COVID, I haven't been getting out to my regular beard trimming folks. So Kurt, the answer is yes. Let's do it. Michael says evening there. Let's see. What is Eric asks, are you seeing TGIS? What is TGIS? Could you, I'm not very good with see, I don't even know what the word is, but when you shorten the word, abbreviations. I'm not very good with abbreviations and that sort of thing. So if you guys can type out the full wording, that would be very helpful for me. I really appreciate that. Aryan Misra asks, bruh, I gotta know all about that India trip you keep teasing. Well, I hate to do this to you, but it wasn't India. It was Nepal. For my 33rd birthday, my good friend and I, who's also turning 33, we decided to go on an epic trip for our Jesus years. That's how we described it. And my good friend Rob, he's 2 weeks older than I am. He's born on, I think it's Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and I'm on February 26th. So we're two dudes from Queens who met at a Catholic high school in Long Island, and we decided to go rage in Nepal, in Kathmandu. And so happy that I went there. It was terrific. It was funny preparing for it. Rob was basically like getting all this gear together as if we were going to be, you know, climbing Everest. And that wasn't the case at all. Like Kathmandu, I mean, there's some elevation there, but we didn't do any climbing or anything like that. We hung out in town, drank a lot of beer, ate a lot of food. The food was great. Really enjoyed the food in Nepal. And I think we went on one guided tour in the countryside, and basically we just paid the dude to walk us around. We thought he would actually be like a tour guide and point shit out and all that. No, he was just, you know, taking these two Americans in the countryside. Trying to think of all the things that happened there. One of the cool things that happened, or interesting things, it was very like otherworldly, is we visited a crematorium in Nepal, and I'm not sure if the crematorium was next to the actual Ganges or a river that eventually leads to the Ganges River, but the devout Hindus would burn the corpses in a crematorium and then dump them into this body of water, and the water would eventually lead out to a very sacred river. So we're walking around and they're burning bodies. Like they're burning bodies and there's smoke everywhere. And I'm like inhaling what I describe as dead people, dead poor people, which felt weird. Actually, I don't know if they were dead poor people. I don't know like how much money it costs to burn yourself, That maybe like getting a kind of a riverside burning is like, that's like a Mac thing to do. Mac thing to do? How fucking old am I? But when we were there, we were walking around, and one of the things that you notice is there's a lot of monkeys all over the place. And one thing we were told is like, don't look the monkeys in the eye, right? Because a monkey will fuck you up. Like a monkey will come and they will steal shit from you, and they will fuck you up. And like they're basically worshipped as sort of like deities. So even if you get a good swing on a monkey, you're gonna get fucked up by some Nepalese dudes. And so don't even do that. But that was really interesting. And the picture that I think you're alluding to, Aryan, is a picture of me posing between two sadhu, so two holy men. And these two in particular are all done up, like a lot of makeup and stuff like that. And we were told later on that there's a good chance that the more out there these guys look, the more made up they look, they're probably not holy men. They're probably con men. We didn't really give a shit. But, you would see, we hear stories about like a sadhu who vows to, a life of poverty. And then, homie's got a fucking Rolex on and all that. Learned some things about the sadhu. So they take a vow of poverty. I believe they take a vow of celibacy, and they also don't drink alcohol. But there's kind of a mixture that they're allowed to drink. That's kind of like I don't know if it's like hash or marijuana, but I think it has like some of those same elements to it. So that was interesting. So I had this joke where I said, sadhu, they're poor, they don't get laid, and they're high all day. So they're basically, your old roommate. One regret that I have about going to this place was you would see other holy men that were completely naked, and it was just normal. Like you turn a corner and there's like a bunch of naked holy men, lying down, and excuse me. And so we went and we turned the corner, and there's this naked dude standing over this giant rock, like a big rock, and he didn't speak English very well, but what became very clear is that he was offering to lift this rock with his penis if we would pay him to lift this rock with his penis. And the dude wanted like $100, and we were like, no, we're good. And one of my regrets is like, I should have haggled. I should have haggled with that dude. I could have got him to lift this rock with his penis for maybe like $20 or something like that. And that's something that you don't forget. The year that we went, me and my friend went, it's like 5 years ago, going on 6 years ago. When we got back, it was, I think, a month later, Nepal just was hit with just a terrible, terrible earthquake, just completely like destroyed this stuff. And it was wild because we took so many pictures, and we had pictures of these places that were hundreds of years old, maybe some of them like dating back even farther in time than that, and they were leveled, they were done, fucking over with. So yeah, so the picture that I used to promote this live stream came about on a really great trip I had with a great friend many years ago in Kathmandu, Nepal, and I would love to go back there. That would be fantastic. All right. Jacob Mayberry says your video on Sweden is my favorite. Thank you very much, Jacob. I really appreciate that. Sweden was another cool place that I got to go. This time for business. The video Jacob is talking about is 5 reasons why we need Sweden's democratic socialism, and it's available on YouTube, on Facebook, and it's something I produced with We the Internet TV. Yeah. Casey asks, is she an Ab Fab fan? See, man, dude, you're speaking another language. I got to get my wife in here. I got to call her up. Hey, honey, come over to the WeWork because you got a lot of fans here. A lot of dorks. Let's see. Jacob says my wife is obsessed with Outlander. I don't get it, man. I think there's a witch. I hear there's like time travel or something like that. But more than anything, I think there's just a bunch of dudes whose accents are sexier than they are. All right? Quit hiding behind your fucking accent, bro. All right? Joe asks, Lou, what was your favorite birthday and why? My favorite birthday and why? I think my favorite birthday, and sometimes, you get a birthday gift that you don't necessarily get it. You don't necessarily celebrate it on your birthday. If it's like a surprise, like a trip or something like that. And my favorite birthday, my wife, then girlfriend, were same person. It's not like I was in like a really cool threesome, because that would have been a great birthday gift. So let my wife know. My birthday is coming up in February. But my girlfriend and I at the time were living in Los Angeles, and out of nowhere, well, not out of nowhere, I knew my birthday was coming up, but the gift that my girlfriend gave me at the time, I opened it up, and it's like, pack your bags, baby. We're going to Las Vegas. Woo! That's already awesome. We're going to see your favorite Penn and Teller live. That was great. Penn Jillette is especially at the time, was a personal hero of mine. Absolutely loved Penn, and this was something that came as a total surprise. It was probably the most well thought out gift, the perfect gift for me at that point in my life, and she nailed it. And it was so great. She even drove the next morning and let me sleep in the passenger seat. So then we ate like a really nice big steak dinner at one of the steakhouses in the I don't know if it was in the same hotel as the performance. And before the show, while people are coming in, you'll notice that there's at this point it was like a 2-piece band. There's like a piano and bass, playing like bebop and jazz and that sort of thing. And I think you're allowed to like walk around the stage and whatnot. So I think I was waiting to get up on the stage like before the show to like walk around, and I look, and who is it but Penn Jillette? Penn Jillette is playing bass, and me, I'm such a what am I? I'm such a sweetheart that I see him. This is the first time I've ever seen him live, and I get tears in my eyes. And I like raised like a peace sign to him, and he gave me a nod from afar. So that was really sweet. What became even cooler, what was even cooler though, is that during the show, Penn and Teller do a magic trick of where you pull a rabbit out of a hat. And part of the bit that they explained is like, this pulling a rabbit out of the hat is so quintessentially magic, right? Like it's like where people think that, oh, that's like an easy trick to pull off. But in reality, it's incredibly difficult to pull off. So while the imagery, of pulling a rabbit out of a hat is, when you think of magic, you think of that. A lot of people don't perform that trick because they can't. So they need to get a member from the audience to come up and be part of the bit and help them pull a rabbit out of the hat. And who do they pick? No, they didn't pick me. they picked my girlfriend. So my girlfriend is wearing like a very tight, very hot, kind of, to be honest, kind of like a little sleazy, kind of like Vegas kind of thing, She looked great. She looked great. And she gets pulled up on stage and she helps do the trick with them. And that was really cool. So happy for her, proud of her. She got close to, one of my loves, Penn. And then after the show, we got to take pictures with both Penn and Teller. We did Teller's picture first, and then we waited to get a picture with Penn. Penn remembered my girlfriend's name, Michelle, who is now my wife. He said, "Hey, come over here, Michelle," and he put his hand around her, and we took a picture, and I was giddy like a little kid. It was awesome. And as it turns out, my younger brother, he and his wife did a trip to Vegas, and she got pulled up on stage. She actually got pulled up on stage for the same exact magic trick. So that, Joe, was my favorite birthday, and that was the reason why. It was all love there. It was so great. Let's see. David says, I have the same lazy beard, except it's red, and my soul patch is slightly larger. Cool, man. I'm with you, brother, on that. I was a couple of years ago. I started getting like in this area. I had like a fucking huge hole in the hair. I don't know if it was from me pulling it or if it was stress induced or something like that. So if you guys start seeing pockets of hair in my beard, you got to check in on me. You got to ask me, Yo, Lou, you doing all right, man? You okay? Let's see. Excuse me. Sean asks, what's the hardest part about life as a career creative, particularly in NYC? What's the hardest part? I think the hardest part is just sort of like the unknown, even when I had like a full-time gig, there was always a part of me that was like, oh, this can go at any time. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that this job will be here forever. But I would imagine that would make, being a creative anywhere tough, just sort of, not knowing if it's, if this is going to keep working, if this is going to keep working out. And like when I started the podcast in October, I've been doing it for a few months, and that's been a tough thing. You guys have been great. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for that. But it's a tough thing to sort of kind of feel like you're starting from zero again. So I was with my comedy duo, Greg and Lou. We had like a pretty nice amount of success as far as doing stuff on YouTube. Then we sort of like left that for a while. We hadn't been making videos, and was with We the Internet for a while and helped to build up that audience. And it's sort of like you go from hundreds of thousands of people either following you or subscribing to you, not to mention getting those views, and now I'm like starting from, okay, I don't have that big of an audience. How do I grow my audience? What do I need to do? Now I need to put on a bunch of different hats because not only am I producing content, but I'm also trying to put it out there, and while at the same time trying to figure out the amount of time that I need to spend on, my own stuff, and how much time I need to spend on other projects that I have. Unfortunately, I do have other projects, and once that stuff is more solidified, once we got some stuff in the can that we're shooting, I'm really excited about, I'll definitely let you guys know about that. Let's see. Jacob Mayberry says, this great imperfect spelling. That's what TGIS means. Oh, no. Joe, correct. Joe is telling Jacob what that means. Thank you for that. Let's see. Aryan says, bro, I felt that earthquake in my apartment in Delhi. Building was swinging left and right. Damn, man. I can only imagine like that. When I was living in LA, when I was going back and forth to LA, I slept through, I can't tell you how many earthquakes I slept through it. Some of them I remember sort of being in kind of, I guess they would call it like that liminal space between sleep and being awake. And, like, oh, this is a dream. So I can't even imagine what a really big earthquake must feel like, especially the one that was so catastrophic in Nepal and India and the surrounding lands. So let's see. David has offered to lift a rock with his penis, but I have to bring the Blu-ray or DVD. Oh, lift the rock. I mean, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I don't know if he'd be up for that. Maybe earlier in his career. I don't know. Who knows? Starting some shit with The Rock. Bad idea, Lou. Greg says, in the middle of things, but wanted to congratulate you on the article. Great job on what you're doing. All the best to you. Greg, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. The article that Greg mentions is something that I wrote for the Wall Street Journal in the opinion and commentary section. And it's called How I Became a Far-Right Radical. And the subheader is Academics mislabeled me as one, as they did Brett Weinstein, Joe Rogan, Sam Harris, and others. So that's available if you guys want to head over there and give it a read. I've been sharing it, as much as I can. I'm very proud to have been included in the Wall Street Journal. It's a very big thing, a big accomplishment on my part. I can't say it's every comedian's dream to be published in the Wall Street Journal, but sometimes these, you take the gigs that come your way and you go for it. But it's been pretty funny, sharing it with a bunch of friends. Some of them very well off friends. Some of them who have a lot of money, a lot of money they could be passing around, and they're like, yeah, man, read the first couple paragraphs, but paywall, what are you gonna do? It's like, come on, man, just buy it just for like a week. Do a 7-day trial or something like that. That would be fantastic. Okay. Ryan asks, what is the long-term plan since leaving WTI? I think the long-term plan is kind of continuing what I was looking to do while I was at WTI, looking to create obviously more standalone videos and series, as well as trying to come up with ideas and shows that can sort of go beyond just the 2 to 3 minute length of a sketch comedy video. So my partner Greg and I, of Greg and Lou, videos are still available. Check them out. We're writing up pitches for narrative TV shows, for documentary style, serialized stuff, features as well, and also on the personal front, I want to build up the podcast. I had a really great time for the past few months that I've been doing it. Starting to get it a little bit more. And for those of you who haven't seen it, but I closed out 2020 with an episode with my buddy Michael Malice. That is doing really well. It's the most downloaded episode and the most watched episode on YouTube. So that's really cool. And Michael has such a huge following that a lot of his fans are seeing my work for the first time. So that's really cool. So trying to do that. Looking to do stand up again. It's been so long since I've been on a stage, and looking to do writing as well when the opportunity comes. More straight writing, like so I did. So this year I looked back and I wrote I wrote the article for the Wall Street Journal. I wrote an article for the Spectator US, and I wrote a number of articles for Spike magazine, and that was that was cool. Now I have a few of those under my belt, but that type of writing, whether it's op-eds or being like a columnist and all that, it's quite different than the stuff that I'm normally doing. But if you guys are not subscribed yet, please sign up for my mailing list on thelouperez.com, or as you can see, I'm on thelouperez.locals.com. Be great if you guys would come and check me out over there. And if you're noticing, I have a hat on right now. This is actually my first sponsor. That's right. This is blackbrew.com. So Black Organic Cold Brew. A buddy of mine, it's his company. It's absolutely delicious. If you guys want to give it a shot, at checkout, you just use the code LOU, L-O-U, and I believe you get a second item for 50% off. But either way, it's going to a good cause, which is your taste buds. And it's really good stuff. And it's kind of cool. Like, I get to wear a fly hat and actually advertise a company whose product I like. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. John Zimmer says, you still looking to move or live in Jersey? I am. And you know what? On the episode with Michael Malice, he and I, were talking about me, leaving New York, and he was asking where you're looking to go. And I said, Jersey. But I didn't say it like that. I was like, Jersey. Like, I scoffed at it. And one of the members of the locals community called me out on it. He's like, dude, what was that all about, man? Jersey's awesome. It's beautiful. And you know what? He's right. He's 100% right. There is this idea about Jersey. It's sort of like a meme now, where it's like Jersey is a shithole. It's a shitty place. And that is just something that people who've never been there or been to all the disparate parts of Jersey say. My wife is from New Jersey. During the lockdown, we were spending like every weekend driving out to Jersey to go on walks, to go on hikes, to go to the shore and all that. Jersey's beautiful. It's amazing. And the spots that we're looking to move are awesome. They're wonderful. But I'm so happy that he called me out on that, because it was like, that happens sometimes where I think, even though I like to think of myself as a creative person, and also as a person who's willing to, buck the trend, there I was being a fucking hack talking about New Jersey. Like, ugh, Jersey, where I should have been like, oh, we're looking to move to Jersey. Big fan of that state. It's awesome. So call me out on it, man. Anything that'll get me more stressful in life. Now I gotta think, am I a fucking hack? In that case, I definitely was a hack, no doubt. Let's see. What do we got here? Lenny Pearl. Hi, Lou. Nothing special to ask. I said, how are you doing? Happy and healthy, safe New Year. Thank you so much, Lenny. I hope you're enjoying the New Year as well. If you're still up in Finland, I'm looking forward to getting out there one day. That would be absolutely awesome. Let's see. Jay Mendoza Vega says, I unfortunately just now discovered Greg and Lou, which is now my new favorite channel. How did that start, and when did it end? Thank you, Jay, for checking that out. For one, I just got to say, one of the cool things about having a library of, work that you did for decades, well, not decades, but we'll get there one day where there will be decades of material to go back on. But Greg and I have a ton of videos over on our Greg and Lou channel on YouTube, and I gotta be honest. A lot of them still hold up. A lot of them still make me laugh, and I'm happy to see that they're making new audience members laugh as well. That's a huge compliment. So thank you for that. Greg and I started at NYU. Greg was a year older than me, and he was one of the founding members of a group called the Wicked Hammerkatz. So you might know some other members of the Wicked Hammerkatz. Probably most famous is Donald Glover, Childish Gambino. So he's one of the founding members. And then I joined the next semester. I had been doing improv comedy, and a bunch of people that were, there was a lot of crossover between the Hammerkatz and the improv team that I was on, Camp Anawana swim team that later became Danger Box, which I think are both still going strong at NYU. So that's pretty cool. And so I started doing sketch comedy at NYU with Greg. Greg was a year older. I think I said that. And when he graduated, he still continued to work with the group. We started performing at the UCB Theater, and we were a very large group. And we started sort of breaking off into smaller groups, either duos or Derek, the group Derek with Donald Glover, DC Pearson, Dominic Dierkes. They became their thing. We were still working together on the Hammerkatz, but we each started doing our own thing. And Greg and I, we sort of had this affinity for each other. I guess we had an affinity. We liked each other. We had, I guess, kind of like a similar upbringing. We're both kids of the 80s. We love action movies. He's from Staten Island. I'm from Queens. At some point in our lives, we both had just ridiculously thick fucking accents. And we got along really well with our comedy, our comic sensibilities. And whenever I talk about Greg, if you're looking for a partner, and I think in anything really, you need to have a partner whose default position isn't to say no. You need a partner whose default position is to listen and to think, maybe, what about this or what about that? And that's been I think a huge part of the success that I've had in comedy. I can attribute to working with Greg Burke. So Greg is a type of person where I think he would add value to any production. The dude directs, he acts, he writes, he edits, and he has just an incredible comedy mind. He's just been a great partner. And after a while, at least for the past 5 years or so, Greg and I have been collaborating on the We the Internet stuff. So we have a bunch of Greg and Lou stuff in the can. We had like live shows and that sort of thing that kind of got pushed to the side because this was a paying opportunity in comedy, and you gotta do those. It's been a while since we've performed live together, and one of the last shows that what was the last show that we did? We were originally going to do a sketch comedy show based on the movie Heat, Michael Mann's Heat, which, if you haven't seen it, is one of the best movies ever. Definitely like one of the best action movies ever. It's Pacino and De Niro, but when Pacino and De Niro cared. Val Kilmer's in it, Tom Sizemore, Danny Trejo. Trejo. It's a fantastic movie, and we were going to do a whole show based on it. I think think we maybe wrote up like 5 or 6 sketches, which is about the length that you need to do a live show. But we ended up not doing that show. Instead, we did a sketch comedy show based on the movie The Warriors from the 70s. And to our shock and amazement, when we performed it live, it turns out nobody in the audience had ever seen The Warriors, and they had no fucking clue on what we were referencing. So maybe some of the stuff was funny. It would have been funnier if they knew what we were doing. But those things are in the vault right now. Those ideas. But I guess I think that it's the good and the bad when you're have a working relationship where you don't just say no, where you say, all right, maybe, what if, and you take chances, you put it out there. Every now and then you put a video out that gets millions and millions of views. Every now and then you spend months and months working on a sketch comedy show that no one knows what the fuck you're doing. So, there we go. Let's see. What's up, dog? What else is on your mind, guys? Someone Jay just asked, where do we ask the questions? Hoping this doesn't count as a question. No, man, I think you are asking the questions. I think I just answered your question. No, just put it in the comment section. I'm using StreamYard. That's what I'm using right now. So I'm streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. So. David says, I remember he did Penn Says, then it was sponsored and called Penn Points. Does he have a podcast instead now? I've been totally missing his input on basically everything. Yeah, I think Penn Jillette has Penn's Sunday School. I think he's had that for a while now. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Ariana, I'm not sure if you're responding to somebody, but let's see. You said, yeah, brown, non-American guy here who really respects an alt-right comedian. Sure. Whoever you're responding to, that must be an amazing conversation. I bet they're anonymous. I bet. I'm going to go out on a limb there. Lenny has a question. Came to mind. I just muted myself to cough. Let's see. What's your favorite thing about the industry? Behind the camera, writing, or in front of the camera, acting, or stand up on stage? What is my favorite thing? I really enjoy being up on stage, but what I found is every time it's rare that I get good tape of it. So I'll go and have like a really good show, be really enjoying it, and then I'll get off the stage and immediately be in my head. And then I'll start listening to it, and then I'll start picking my set apart. So that's annoying. I'm just annoying. I'm annoying for myself. So that's a big thing. I have a similar thing with podcasts. If I'm on a podcast, if I make an appearance on somebody else's podcast, I'm thinking about that appearance for at least the next few hours after I'm done with the podcast. And then there'll be a time when I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about the podcast, like, oh, man, that sounded stupid. I was babbling, blah, blah, blah. The one good thing, though, is that I know that my obsessive personality has a shelf life, for each particular thing. So I'm like, look, yeah, I'm feeling like shit and nervous and stressed out and thinking I should have said this or should have said that. But I know that feeling is going to be over in like 2 to 3 days. My goal is to get that window, shrink that window, so I'm immediately over something. But what are you going to do? It's the same brain, no matter what. Yeah, as far as I'm not that. I would probably put acting in front of the camera at the lower register of the stuff that I like doing. I've may have talked about this before, but I really like being in the writing side and production side, especially when you're able to put something together. So if you wrote a script and hand it off to a group of actors, and they take it, they do something with it, where it feels like you never wrote it. It feels like it's something that they've made, and you need to kind of be reminded, like, oh no, I came up with that. So that I think that's a really fun part. It's like the collaborative process that I like. When it works, it's so great. It feels like magic. Jacob wants me to pronounce New Jersey, New Jersey. We'll see. So how long I have to live there for that to be a thing. But I've already started practicing driving like an asshole. So I'm getting into that Jersey groove. You know what I'm saying? Justin asks, have you found that criticizing both sides of the political spectrum, that it just left people of both sides hating you? I find that now I only have friends that are not politically involved. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to wonder. I'm wondering. What I noticed is sort of like in the comments, right, where like people who are offended, so if they're offended on the left, it's like they get the joke, they don't think it's funny, and they think I'm a terrible person for telling it. The people I offend on the right, it's like they don't get the joke, they don't think it's funny, and they think they can kick my ass. So it's sort of a general sort of thing that I've found when it comes to angering people. But something that I've been, I guess, sort of grappling with, and something I talked with Michael Malice about, is sort of, the attempts to be an equal opportunity offender, if you will. And at We the Internet TV, that was an MO that was in the mission statement. Try to be an equal opportunity offender. And I just wonder, is that tenable? Because it's like, yeah, I'm willing to make fun of the right and the left, but is that necessarily the case on the left? Like, is the left willing to make fun of the right and the left? Is the right willing to make fun of themselves, as well as making fun of the left? It doesn't seem to be that way. Just a little while ago, I posted a picture of an old hockey goalie who was not wearing a helmet or a mask. And I just put the text, "Masks don't work." And part of it is just, I guess a tiny bit of troll in me, just waiting to see, all right, who gets pissed off about this? Is it will the anti-mask people get pissed off because of making that comparison, or will the pro-mask people get pissed off because the text still says masks don't work? But yeah, I think more than anything, more than anything, I definitely respect the audience that my work is brought over to me. Like my favorites are the people who are able to say, hey, I'm with you on this one, but I didn't like this one very much, but I'm going to stick around because, hey, you can't please everybody all of the time. And then I was telling you guys on Locals, the person who called me out for my Jersey response, he said, I didn't think the Jersey slam was hacky. I just thought it was a knee-jerk response from city dwellers. And I totally agree with you 100%. I know you weren't saying that it was hacky. I defined it as hacky because that made me think like, oh man, the knee-jerk response, that I gave was a hack one. That was hack. But again, thank you for calling me out on that. I appreciate that. Eric Granada says, Greg is funny as heck. He sure is. Eric says, loved him on that gamer series that Swain was doing with Cracked. Yeah. They used to shoot like, man, I don't know, it was like 3 of those in a day. Like, and those were real, like, dialogue heavy things. And like with real technical stuff too. Like Michael Swain is excellent at being able to craft like really specific technical language, especially about a world like, video games where, they'll smell you a mile away if you're bullshitting, if you're trying to fake it. So he was, excellent at being able to do that and to deliver, that information too. It's pretty amazing. And I think I was in one of them. I was in one episode. I think the joke was that Greg and I both went to Missouri together, and I think I had to keep shouting Mizzou, something like that. Let's see. Eric asks, Lou, will we be able to read your Wall Street Journal piece without the paywall at some point? Yeah, I think I retain ownership of it in like 30 days or something like that. So if you can wait a month, I could be, putting it out there. So. David asks, what do you think of this new Comedy Central thing where they post random new comedians and the laughter is canned? They keep popping up on my feed and the comments seem planted too. I know it's very hard to be a good comedian, but I can't help but feel like they're deliberately choosing to highlight comedians for pandering, quote, woke reasons, rather than ones they actually believe in or, funny. I can't really comment on that. I haven't watched Comedy Central in quite a long time. I have noticed a trend with trailers for comedy specials where it's like there are no jokes. It seems like there's no jokes. You would think, you got like a half hour, an hour comedy special. There's got to be at least a couple of jokes in it you could throw into the trailer. But yeah, a lot of comedy, comedy specials, they don't seem like comedy at all. One cool thing though, I have to say is when I have like checked out like Comedy Central on YouTube, or if videos have been recommended to me on YouTube, is I see quite a few comedians that used to do my open mic in LA. So I used to run an open mic and a show called Uncle Lou's Safe Place, and one of the gimmick of the show was I would book comedians, and then in between the booked comedians, I would have like 3 or 5 spots that I would pick names out of a hat, and then that comic could come up and do a short set in front of a real audience when we could get a real audience. But that was like an all-night affair. I would get up there at like 7 p.m. and then get back home at like 2 in.m, and doing that every week for a couple of years. And it's wild just thinking about just the hundreds and hundreds of comedians that either performed in my mic or performed on the show. It was and now seeing them actually making it and being getting a spotlight on Comedy Central. It's dope. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. I'll let Eric talk with. I don't know if this is illegal. I don't want to know anything about this. Let's see. Jokes don't exist anymore. It's all clapture. You guys agree with that? You guys go with that? Well, any other questions? Anything else on your mind? Just to remind you guys again, if you want to support me, you can head over to thelouperez.locals.com. And for those of you who don't know about it, it is a community. You can post on the community wall. You know, it's unlike Facebook, where there is no locals jail. It's unlike Twitter, where, you know, you're not going to get your account suspended and all that. And it's, you know, an opportunity to, you know, have like-minded people having fun, posting stuff that we're into, commenting on each other's stuff, and you know, doing kind of like what we're doing here. So that'd be awesome if you're able to join up over there. And if you're into cold brew, well, head over to blackbrew.com and use the promo code Lou, L-O-U, and get some of your cold brew wants and desires met over there. Let's see. Aryan Misra says, I wrote a pretty long one 2 minutes ago. So let's see. Where is it? Did I see? For those just joining us, thank you. But we got a lot of soldiers here that have been here for almost an hour. Let's see. Cool. Well, guys, if you're not feeling, if I'm not feeling what? If there's nothing else on your mind, I'm probably going to call it a night. Remember, it's almost 9 o'clock for me, and I haven't been sleeping very well. But I'll tell you what, like I said before, I have an obsessive mind where every time that I do a podcast, I'm a guest somewhere, or get up and do a comedy set, I'm immediately replaying that stuff in my head and feeling, I could have done that better, I could have done that better. But you guys have been very kind to me, and I'm just going to look at this as I got to hang out with a group of friends for an hour on a Monday night. I'm ready to take on the rest of the week, and I hope you are too. All right, Andrew, let's see. Andrew says, Lou, sorry I'm late. This is definitely working for you. Andrew, thank you so much for the callback to last month where somebody said, this is not working for you. And by you, he meant me. And I haven't been able to sleep ever since. Let's see. Has Greg had any cameos on WTI? Jay, yeah, he has. I think his biggest appearance might be, I think it's titled something like Orange Americans for Trump. And he plays a Guido from Staten Island named Vinny Fortunato. And he's very orange. He is extremely orange. It's worth checking out. We made that video before Trump was elected. So. Let's see. Jay says, thanks for everything you do, Lou. Been a huge fan for a long time. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for supporting me, man. Really appreciate it. Eric says, just joined Locals. Apologies in advance for when my stimulus check runs out. Well, it's for a good cause. It's for a good cause. What I say is for the price of a latte a month, you can buy me a latte a month, and I would really appreciate that. Let's see. A boy from Jersey. That guy you said it wasn't working was a punk ass bitch. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Cool. Well, I think I'm gonna take off. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this Monday night. I'm looking to do this first Mondays of the month. Got a lot of stuff coming up. I hope you'll check in from time to time. Let me know how you're doing. Anything you want to talk about or anything like that, head over to Locals and join the community. So have a great week, everybody. And here I am signing off.